Hi students, I'm going to do a couple quick lessons on fractions. This first one is fractions on a number line and counting by fractions, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me switch my camera around so you can see what I'm looking at. So fractions on a number line. A number line goes in infinity in both directions, okay? So all I did is I plotted 2 points on a number line. I plotted points between 0 and 1. But you could have these points anywhere on the number line, okay? Now I'm going to look at my number line, and I see that the number line is split into half, right? There's only 1 point between 0 and 1. So this number is 1 out of 2. And I've represented that here with a pattern block, 1/2. Okay, so if I'm counting on the number line, and I know I'm talking about halves, if I go back to 0, this is 0 halves. So I have 0 halves, 1/2, and this is 2 halves, 2 halves, 1, 2, 2 halves coming together. So 2 halves. So let's count by halves. 0 halves, 1/2, 2 halves. And 2 halves is the same thing as 1 whole. 2 halves is the same as 1 whole. So this shows 1 whole, and this shows 2 halves. All right, let's move on. Here I have a number line again, going infinity in both directions. We have 0 and 1. And I've marked 2 spots that were supposed to be equidistant. You're going to have to imagine that because I'm not very good at that spatial reasoning. I can see that I have 2 marks between 0 and 1. So I've divided this into 1, 2, 3 equal segments. So this first one is the first of 3 equal segments. It's 1 of 3 equal parts. So if I'm counting here, I've got 0, and I'm going to stay with thirds. So this is 0 thirds. This first point on the number line is 1/3. I'm going to represent that here with a pattern block. This is 1/3. This is 2/3. So I'll represent that again. So I have 2/3. Okay, 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Here is 3/3. 1, 2, 3. So we have 3/3. And if we put those thirds together, I'm trying to do this with one hand here. If we put those thirds together, we get 1 whole. 3/3 is equal to 1 whole, just like 2 halves was equal to 1 whole.